Okay, let's see. I'm not in the creator studio today. I'm going to see how this is looking on my end. Here we go. Okay, I like it. I like it. I rock with Zoom, so I can be in the Zoom and understand what's going on. So I appreciate y'all for being patient. All right, now I just got to make sure that I don't. So let's see how this goes, and hopefully somebody will give me some feedback. If you're engaging with us in any way, I am Shereem Herndon-Brown, and you're on my Strategic Admissions Advice channel. And today we're going to talk about March Madness as per college admission and how each level of student and parent should be kind of navigating this. So, again, I am doing my best, people, to go live as often as possible to share. And what I do is I talk about college admissions counseling. I talk about college list building in particular. I talk about anything college admissions related because after decades of doing this in a variety of capacities, I enjoy it. I'm really, really good at it, and I got information to share. So why not? Why not? All right. Again, let's see. In a perfect world, I want this to be a space where parents and schools can connect. I've toyed with meeting with different populations at different times, but really, what I really want to do is want parents and teachers connect. So I'm hoping that 12:30 on Tuesdays will be an opportunity for me to go live and hopefully bridge the gap between parents and schools to come together again. Maybe schools, you could be on a lunch break, parents, you could be on a lunch break. Uh, I tried last night, folks, and after 8 p.m., I'm not as sharp. This time, I can promise you, I am fully alert and eager, and hopefully you're getting this in format that'll make sense. And then I can chop it up and make short. So I like this Zoom integration because it works for me. So that's what we're going to do. But I have a whole lesson that I want to go over with you in preparation for what I'm calling March Madness, the college admission special. Because there's things that parents can do right now. Like there are things that schools can do right now to affect this process. And I want to make sure that I share with you what I believe you could be doing to really affect this process. So let me go into my notes. All right. I'm excited. I'm excited. This is kind of working right now. All right, wonderful. So I love college basketball, men's, women's, and March Madness is just an awesome time, right? It is an awesome time to just really kind of be vested in these young people, not so young with NIL and transfer portal, but they're going for it, right? They're all in on on their college process, on the basketball team. And again, it's a memorable thing. I've been watching the NCAA tournament since 1986 was the first year that I really started to get into it. And it's just a joyous time for me. But it's also a time where different high school students are thinking about college, right? At different points. So 12th grade families, right? You're getting into college and you're hearing back from schools, and hopefully this is a time where you are uh, getting good news, right? And good news comes in a lot of different forms. It's getting decisions that you're in, it's getting decisions that maybe you don't get in. And, yes, while that could hurt at first, it's important to know that you can only go to one place. So parents, your kid can only go to one place. If you want them to gather a whole bunch of acceptances, that's your prerogative, but they can only go one place. And if you've been following me at any frame jump point in time, you understand that cost location, major, and career are the key components of um, anyone's college process. And at this time, senior families, hopefully you're getting information about cost, right? I actually put on TikTok earlier today that you can use AI to compare your financial aid packages. I would ask TikTok, can you please compare, to ask TikTok, ask ChatGPT, ask your AI, please compare these two uploaded docs and tell me from a financial standpoint which has greater upside for my child, which has a greater loan debt, and how this will play out over the next 5 years. Are these subject to inflation? There's so many different, ways you have to think about financial aid, the interest rates on the financial aid loans. Um, you need to understand what the work study component is, what the expected family contribution is. Are there other opportunities at those schools to pursue scholarships? So as a family using AI, senior families to help you kind of navigate that space, I think is wise. But there's still other times, celebratory times during this season that I'm hoping that you're taking advantage of. I'm hoping that you're seeing um, your kid's life as something that's going in the right direction if they're going to college and school. So in schools, right now, you're dealing with seniors hearing if they're getting in, here if they're not getting in. How does that play out in your school? Are there kids who are going to be um, using college as a springboard towards career? It is important that you, as school and parent, discuss what's important for the kid. They're just going to be happy or not that they're getting in, and you have to kind of help them to see the forest from the trees. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Again, Shereem Herndon-Brown, Strategic Admissions Advice, YouTube Live. This is our channel, Strategic Admissions Advice. Would love to be the continuation of something that's great. And yes, meeting here at 12 on Tuesdays at 12:30, but we'll see. All right. So let me go through my notes. I'm excited to teach this lesson. I'm a little more than I thought I would be, but here we are. I was kind of slugging through some of the tech stuff that's been throwing me off for the past couple of weeks, but I'm going to get this right, I promise you. So, because college admissions is kind of March Madness is so visibly in our face right now, we have to be certain. We have to really prioritize um, teaching families, parents, you foundationally understanding what you need to do now and what needs to happen. I'm going to start with the 10th grader. So this is class of 2020 eight, right? I want you to hear me loud and clear what you could be doing as we're in March and you kind of move out the remainder of the year before your kids are junior next year. So 10th grade parents is what you should be doing. And school counselors, if you're listening, educators, if you're listening, if you disagree, please put a comment. Please share, subscribe. Let's gather together. I'm trying to be a bridge between school counselors at high schools and parents so that there's further engagement between the two where we can help us all understand how we can best help kids. And I do believe that parents and teachers have to connect, counselors have to connect in order to make that work. All right. So, 10th grade families, this is what you should be doing right now. Again, I want you to evaluate your kids' academic trajectory. Schools, I think you will agree. As you're getting this choosing classes season, you need to think about if this class equals this as a junior, what will it equal as a senior? What's the kind of the stair steps, the sequence that will lead to certain classes. And yes, I want everyone to take the appropriate rigor, but I do want to be very, very um, encouraging of students challenging themselves, particularly if they're looking at selective schools. I want them to be within the confines of their school primarily. If they have extra additional passion projects on the side, that's separate. But if you are a family, parents, if you're a family and you believe that your kid has the grade scores, ability to succeed at a very selective college or university, you need to be taking the most rigorous course program that your school allows. And school counselors, I would love for you to chime in and agree or not. Let me know what you think. But I want that to be the foundation for 10th grade families to understand right now that the courses that your kid takes over the next several years, takes a couple of years, I guess, is really paramount to them being successful in this process. So are the grades stable? That's number one. Is there upward momentum? Are they strong in a particular discipline? These are the questions, parents, that you should be asking of your kid and of the grades that you see so that you can, ask school counselors about them as well. This is when you start identifying strengths and not just surviving classes, right? Like your kid is really, I think I like science, so I'm going to take this bio, I'm going to take this chem, I'm going to take this physics. I think that's very, very important. So this parents, if number one, excuse me, is to evaluate academic trajectory, then 10th grade parents, number two is planning course sequencing, right? The kind of the same, they go hand in hand. You understand what's ahead of you, but you understand what's kind of plotted on the route. So, what class is the prerequisite? What unlocks AP or advanced work in 11th grade? What should they be taking now to make sure that they're eligible to it? Maybe you need to think about that in ninth grade, but at least think about it for 11th and 12th grade. How are they doing and are they even eligible to take some of those classes? Are they on track for 4 years of math? I think it's important that kids still have, the standard 4-4-3-2 in terms of 4 years of English, 4 years of math, 3 years of science, 2 years of history. Again, those are some of the bare minimums. I'm not trying to say that that's for everyone, but excuse me, there are certain courses and certain trajectories, certain rigor that very competitive schools will be looking for that I would always want to be under consideration. Will they reach a level 4 or 5 in a foreign language? Again, I'm talking about selective schools, but you need to understand how course sequencing works if you're a 10th grade parent. I also want them to begin with college and career curiosity. And school counselors correct me if I'm wrong on this. You want 10th graders not thinking about where they're going to go, but what they're going to do during the next period of their lives when they're 18 to 21, 18 to 22. Are they going to focus their time in STEM or humanities or business or arts, engineering? Like what exposure do they need to really maximize their gifts and really shine to their true potential? So I'm hoping that is something that schools are going to talk to families about, 10th grade families, to make sure that they know what's going on. Let me, if you don't mind, just triple check that this is all looking good on YouTube. Again, I am not a newbie, but I'm someone who's still learning how to use this tool. But I'm interested that maybe you don't get in, and wonderful. See, just wanted to check. All right. So beyond that, we wanted to make sure that we are sharing information that you find is possible. So being curious about career, being curious about colleges. And so you're not picking a major, but you're trying to feel out, your 10th grader strengths and their weaknesses. Summer planning. This year, the summer stops being random. Like you really got to start thinking, okay, what is my kid doing to influence or support their academic journey and their college selection possibilities? Again, everybody's different, but I don't want you to think that summers don't matter. It's important that summertime be a piece of the conversation in order for your kid to have the trajectory that you want them to have in the courses you want them to take. So that could be academic enrichment, it could be leadership roles, it could be skill development. It's just, you can't just hang out anymore. You may go to summer camp. I'm still pro summer camp. Where people say your kid can't go to camp anymore, I'm not going to buy that. But what I will say is that I do believe kids and parents, excuse me, schools and parents need to encourage kids to use the summer after 10th grade productively. And I hope that you agree. So we're also in the last thing, we're in the building habit stage where they're thinking about time management or reading discipline, writing stamina. I know a lot of this is changing or morphing because of AI, but I do want there to be grounded, good academic habits or a vision to, have options. It's funny. I had a conversation with my daughters in the car today. They're both in the eighth grade. They're choosing classes for their ninth grade, high school. And I had a conversation with them just very randomly. This is funny. I said, look, you know what I do for a living. You know that your mother owns my company. We know college counseling, but we never want to project onto you that we have certain expectations of you. We want you to enjoy high school. We want you to enjoy your courses. We want you to work in your gifting. We are not all about the sweatshirt. That's just who we are. Yes, do I, having visited over 500 colleges, have certain idea what certain school locations are like and cost, location, major career? 100%. But one thing I told their brother when he was applying to college is that he felt that he had to go to a certain kind of school because of what I did for a living. And I told him right then and there, because I'm sure I did. I'm sure, and I'm sure I projected it. But if you're a parent listening to this, you know that what you do questionably with your first child, you fix for your second and third, and go on, so on and so forth. So I had twin girls who were 13. And I had told them that, look, I projected onto my son where I thought he wanted to go. And then once he said to me, Dad, because of your job, I feel like I have to go to a certain kind of school. I said, no way. Mm-mm, we're not doing that. I'm not going to allow what I believe you should do in your life to take us from what you do and affect our communication. And some parents may be wrong, disagree with me. Some parents feel like you want to tell your kid what they want to do with their life. And if they need therapy later because they didn't want to do it, then you deal with that then. I get that, but I do think that kids have unique gifts. I do believe that we're in a time where the formal education is being questioned. I'll be the first one to say college ain't for everybody. So I want you, if you're thinking about this, to have a plan, to have some structure, to know what kind of support is out there, strategic admissions advice, to get you to where you want to be. But I don't want you to think that one school, one sweatshirt defines who you are in my eyes. And I needed to tell my kids that so that they didn't feel the pressure. And then by chance, my academically intense daughter, I won't call her overachieving, I'll call her, no, because no, I want her to be an overachiever in life and be a good human being. But she sent me I guess a course selection sheet or something she had to fill out, and had listed a few schools that she knows very little about, but I'm sure I mentioned them to her, and I was happy to see that they were not the brand names that they could have been given where she goes to school. So I say all that because parents, I want you to take your 10th grade. I'm talking about an eighth grader, right? My kid. I want you to take your 10th grader, wrap your arm around them. So there's plenty of colleges out there. We're gonna find the right one. You just have to do what's right for you. And I do think that is primarily focus on building good habits, thinking about what possibilities there could be for the summer. Begin this process with college and career curiosity. I think that's critical. Planning course sequencing, right? And kind of reverse engineering that. What are the steps you need to take? But you do that by evaluating the academic trajectory. So we start there, we go into the other pieces. 10th grade families will be great. 11th grade parents, this is the regular season, right? This is the time where you understand that your kid's applying to college um, in 6 months. And in order to really feel like they are prepared for that, there's certain things that you could be doing that your school is hopefully engaging you with. School counselors, please nod your head yes to say that you're meeting with parents at this juncture to discuss your procedures and protocols. This is a very important time for junior families who feel a lot of angst about this process. They don't know what's going on in our country around in college and education and financing. So I hope that you're being transparent and offering a lot of information, just availing yourself to be supportive, because again, we're all questioning right now, but you know more than parents do because this is your professional space. So hopefully that you share that. Junior parents, what you could be doing right now is protecting your junior year grades, meaning know what they are. They're locked in to an extent, and you want your kid to finish strong. There's a lot of fatigue that happens in March and in the spring, but you need to make sure that your kid understands that the transcript is foundational to the college process, and that colleges read applications backwards. What does that mean? First, colleges are going to read the 12th grade courses that a student is taking. What are they enrolled in for the 12th grade year? Then they're going to read the 11th grade classes and what the final grades were in the 11th grade. After that, they will then go back and look at the 10th grade classes. So, and what does that mean? And what have they done for the 10th grade and then ninth grade? So 11th graders are the first grades that they're going to see. So you must consider that as being the most important. And I want that to be very, very clear that families need to focus on the transcript right now for sequencing for senior year, but really getting a grasp of what that means and what it could possibly mean for their process. The second piece is solidifying the testing plan. Are they taking it? Did they take it already in March? Are they taking the ACT in April? Are they taking, the May or June SAT or the June ACT? The testing plan should be in place. You should have two, if not three, administrations registered for and know what the goal is. So I'm hoping that parents, you know what that is. Schools, I'm hoping that you have either, standardized test date, administration dates at your school, or you're steering your families to where that is. But it is critical, and I do say critical, that you go into this process, understand that testing is still important. There are some people who feel like, testing is optional, and I don't dismiss that. I want testing to be optional if that's what you want it to be, and there are plenty of schools that will accept that, but I don't want kids not taking standardized tests. If they don't do well, then yes, you only submit what is helpful, but do not allow families to think that they can get into a selective school without standardized tests that is test optional. Don't do it. No, take the test to see where you are, evaluate based on that. Yes, are there some schools who are taking students that don't submit testing? Sure, sure, but that's not the overwhelming majority. And I think it's detrimental to families if they go into this process and we're not doing standardized testing for whatever reason. Now, let's be honest and help students to have the options that they want, possibly even for scholarship consideration, by at the minimum taking the test. Okay. At the minimum, taking the test, which means you have to register for the test. So 10th, 11th grade families, you need a testing plan. You need a college list building strategy. Okay, again, I am speaking as an expert in this space, but I don't want you thinking about the rankings or the vibes of the schools. Repeat after me: cost, location, major, career. Again, cost, location, major, career. That is how you must navigate this process. That is what I'm asking you to do. Um, I want them to understand that everything starts with the transcript, which will then lead to the list. And then, yes, summertime matters. Yes, they have to start building their essay foundation after they've thought about their meaningful summer activity and how that's going to influence their application. Then they need to be thinking about their essay. So again, I'm going to kind of go very slowly again. Protect the junior year grades, understand what they are so you get a firm understanding what that looks like. Solidify the testing plan. That's critical. Three, the college list building strategy. Your kid is thinking about applying to what schools for what reasons. And I think that's something that you should not neglect. Um, Plan meaningful summers. I think whether your kid does some kind of research or internship, has a job, academic growth, leadership growth, all these things matter in some capacity. Colleges don't want, like I said, for the 10th grade families to just see you sitting around. They want to see that you've been engaged in some way. And then building the essay foundation. I'm big on story. If I don't have it with me, but I wrote a book called Powerful College Admissions Essays, a guide to telling your story. Kids have to have a story that they're proud of, and that they're sharing with colleges in order to support their application. So I know that that's a big piece of the puzzle, and I'm hoping that families are taking that very, very seriously. I don't think you need to draft yet. I am starting that with a few of our one-on-one clients, but right now, just start thinking about it. Parents, you can help your kids brainstorm. Schools, I'm sure that you're having college counseling classes or some kind of workshop set up for them to think about what they need to be doing for their essays going forward. If you don't, happy to help. But please be thinking about workshops and other opportunities that you could be doing. All right. So don't wait until August to find your voice. That parents, don't let your kid just kind of, oh, get around to it in August. No, let's not do that. All right. 12th graders. I started this whole, Zoom live teaching with you, talking about seniors. I'm going to come back to it, okay? Because I want you to understand that right now you've weathered a big part of the storm, but it's not over. And I want you to know that you're managing decisions and you're managing your kids' reactions, whether acceptances or waitlists or denials. You have to remain the adult and stay steady. Parents, that's what you have to do. School counselors, you then, yes, have to work in tandem with your parent and with your family to understand, what is happening in this kid's process. But I do believe that you have a bigger picture, a more worldly view, and are able to steer them to the right place, given what their options may be. So, parents, your teen is watching how you react to these decisions. So I'm hoping that you'll show them that they're much more than just numbers, or an acceptance, denial, the rest. This is what my TikTok post was about that I want you to take very, very seriously. Evaluate financial aid offers carefully. This is where the maturity really matters. Like, we can't just kind of gush over the acceptance to said school if it's going to cost $92,000 a year. So you want to compare the net price, the merit aid, the loan structure, and the 4-year projections. Again, net price, merit aid, loan structure, 4-year projections. You want to make sure that you are fully go. Those are pretty good notes, by the way. Um, and price over prestige wins every time. Let's think, let's have the vision for our kids in the future of not saddling them with debt. Let's help them to see that money matters a lot, but their education is not something, it's just a piece of their life economy, and not allow that to become the hub of what they're kind of repaying loans for the rest of their lives. I'm telling you, too many people are, I'll include myself, have made poor financial decisions around student loans that impact us in adulthood, and we don't want that. Okay. Um, Visit and revisit, admitted student days matter. Many schools have them. Energy matters, fit matters. You want to see, get an idea of what's going on at that school. Um, I am don't have to introduce this right now, but considering transferring pathways and stuff like that, is there a strategic gap here? Does the kid just need a break? And then lastly is communicating with colleges. If you're serious about enrolling, particularly if you're on a wait list, show them that colleges are all about yield and matriculation. So they may have admitted several students who may not attend, and that may help them to open up their wait list. So please, please, please see that as a path, a strategy to consider. Longer conversation. Hit me up, share, hit me with DMs. But the biggest takeaway, I'm enjoying this. The biggest takeaway, 10th graders, you're building seeds. So class of 2028, you're building seeds. 11th graders, class of 2027, you're fighting for placement. You're starting to really kind of think about how this process is going to work for you over the next 6 months. And 12th graders, congratulations, families, congratulations, school counselors who've navigated 12th graders through this process. You are navigating outcomes. So congratulations. And everything starts with intentional planning. So let's not panic. Let's not about prestige. It's not about comparison. It's about strategy. So strategic admissions advice, Shereem Herndon-Brown. I'm super, super excited to have finally broken through the Zoom YouTube tech maze that I was struggling with. I'll figure out how I can respond to questions directly on YouTube via this Zoom. But this worked for me, and I'm hoping to be back here next week, next Tuesday at 12:30. I'm going to promote it a little bit more of how I can connect with teachers and parents to really help this process hum. All right. All right. I am very, very glad that we connected. And yeah, let's leave it at that for now. I'll figure out how to get into the comments next time live. All right. May see what this looks like on YouTube. And then I will sign off. Okay. All right. I appreciate you very, very much.